The final lesson in the kit, Lesson 3.11, contains an engineering challenge for students by having them plan and construct a pendulum that is designed to meet specific criteria. While the content of this lesson is still focused on pendulums and our 5th grade physical science standards, it's also worth noting that this touches on our engineering standards, which are prevalent in Quarter 3. Virtually all of the kit's materials can be reviewed as a whole class and made accessible for students via a distribution center or some other accessible method. In addition to the kit's materials, it may also be helpful to have some additional materials, such as paper, plastic cups, some paper clips, cardboard, tape, and glue. The exact materials available will vary from class to class, but the big idea is to provide students access to a variety of reasonable materials. The lesson plan has been revised a little bit, and now includes an excerpt from an article titled "How Pendulum Clocks Work." The excerpt briefly describes the role of pendulums in clocks, and describes 3 types of clocks: small cuckoo clocks, normal-sized wall clocks, and large grandfather clocks. The criteria for pendulum swings are listed for each type of clock as well. Small cuckoo clocks should have a pendulum that swings twice per second. Normal wall clocks should swing once per second, and the grandfather clocks swing once per every 2 seconds. Students should decide which type of clock they want to plan and design according to the criteria of the rate of the targeted pendulum swing. Alternatively, a more advanced version of this challenge could be to task students to design a device that can switch between 2 different types of clocks by adjusting the pendulum length. A pendulum handout is provided to help students structure their thinking and record their findings, as well as responding to some reflection questions after completing and testing their design. Also, a blank template of the engineering design process is provided in the digital kit manual for this lesson to help guide students through the processes of brainstorming, planning, and designing before they move on to the more hands-on step of constructing and testing. Students should also be expected to make measurements of their pendulum and record certain data that they can then share out later. For example, students should measure and record the following: their pendulum's mass, length, and angle of release. This data can be compiled to form another set of class data, which can then be compared to the previous set of class pendulum data from Lesson 3.9 to let students see if certain data trends remain consistent between both sets of class data.